It's not every day that airport staff encounter a U.S. soldier overwhelmed with emotions. Soldiers are known for their composure, but this one was different. Sitting on the floor, phone in hand, tears streaming down his face, something was clearly wrong. The personnel hesitated to approach, unsure of what to say or do. Just as someone decided to remind him that he was about to miss his flight, a sudden shout echoed through the terminal. "Don't let him board the flight!" The words froze everyone in place. Confusion rippled through the crowd. What could possibly justify stopping a soldier from boarding his flight? Even he looked startled, his reddened eyes darting toward the commotion. The airport staff scrambled to act, but they had no idea what they were stepping into. But why was the soldier in so much distress? What was he looking at on his phone, and why shouldn't he be allowed to board the flight? Before we start our story, smash the like button. Make sure to subscribe and hit the notifications bell so you won't miss any new stories. Brooks Lindsay and his wife, Haley Wilson, met in 2015 in their hometown of Jackson, Mississippi. From the moment they started dating, they were inseparable. Brooks knew right away that he never wanted to be with anyone else. But in spite of his love for Haley, Brooks had a secret that would change everything. Ever since he was a little boy, Brooks had always wanted to join the Army and serve his country. He was worried that Haley would try to talk him out of it, but she was more than supportive of his dream. He couldn't believe his luck. When Brooks left for training, he never imagined what fate had in store for them. During training, Brooks couldn't wait to see Haley again. He missed her terribly, but he knew that he'd done the right thing by following his heart and enlisting. When it was finally time to return home, he was nervous that maybe things between them would be different. And Brooks was right. Spending time apart had made their relationship even stronger. It truly felt like Brooks had found the perfect woman, and everyone who knew them agreed that they belonged together. But there was still one question lurking at the back of Brooks's mind. One day, he turned to Haley and asked, "Haley, will you marry me?" Haley agreed to marry Brooks, and the couple married in 2017. Although they were still relatively young, they were both more than ready to commit to each other and a long life together. Shortly after the couple exchanged their vows, they received some truly unbelievable news. It felt like everything was falling into place. When they'd exchanged vows, they had no idea that Haley was already pregnant with their first baby. However, once the newlyweds found out, they were overjoyed. As they told their family and friends, it was clear they couldn't wait to hold their child in just 9 short months. But with the pregnancy came new obligations. Soon enough, Haley started heading to doctor's appointments, ultrasounds, baby classes, and more, all with Brooks by her side. They started planning the design of their nursery and working out their parenting styles. It seemed like there was so much to figure out, and at their next ultrasound, the doctor had some unexpected news. Haley and Brooks had been dying to know whether they'd be having a boy or a girl. The doctor announced that Haley was carrying a daughter. Suddenly, Brooks could almost picture her face in his mind. There wasn't anything in the world that was more important to him than his baby. Unfortunately, Brooks had a different kind of vow to uphold. While Brooks wanted nothing more than to stay home and support his wife through the pregnancy, duty called. One day, he found out that the Army wanted him to go to Fort Bliss for training and then deploy to Kuwait. He was supposed to be away for almost a year. What would Haley do without him? Haley promised Brooks that she could handle the birth and raising their daughter alone for the months he was away. Brooks was heartbroken, but he didn't have a choice. The realization that he would be leaving made their time together that much more precious. The day was drawing closer and closer. The day Brooks left for training, he kissed Haley goodbye, knowing her due date would arrive while he was away. Despite the reality, he held on to a sliver of hope that he might witness the birth of their daughter, Millie, a name they both adored. As Haley's pregnancy progressed, things seemed fine, apart from some high blood pressure that she chalked up to the stress of Brooks's absence. Baby Millie was healthy, and Haley felt confident, even during routine checkups. But everything changed during a Thursday appointment. Haley's blood pressure had spiked to dangerous levels. Concerned for the baby, the doctor ordered blood work, suspecting complications. Haley was sent home to rest, but her anxiety grew as she awaited the results. When the call finally came, her fears were confirmed. She had preeclampsia, a condition stressing both her body and the baby. Brooks's parents rushed Haley to the hospital, where doctors decided to induce labor earlier than planned. Haley was terrified but determined to do what was best for Millie. Before labor began, she frantically called Brooks to update him. Though overwhelmed, he promised to try for emergency leave through the Red Cross, a near-impossible feat for most soldiers. Haley braced for disappointment, believing Brooks wouldn't make it, but as her condition worsened, the Red Cross approved Brooks's leave, giving him a chance to make it home. Suddenly, hope returned, but the clock was ticking. As soon as Haley informed Brooks about the situation, he advised her to call the Red Cross and even allowed them to speak directly to her doctor. The Red Cross acted quickly, granting Brooks emergency leave to fly home from Texas. Although thrilled to see his wife and child, Brooks was equally worried about Haley's fragile condition. Brooks booked the earliest available flight, even though it included a layover in Dallas and wouldn't leave until the following morning. At the El Paso airport, he managed to board his 10 a.m. flight to Dallas without issues. Despite the smooth start, Brooks feared he might miss his daughter's birth. Meanwhile, Haley was in the hospital with her water breaking early that morning. She shared, "Friday morning, my water was broken at 7 a.m. and Pitocin was started." While excited, Haley worried about whether Brooks would arrive in time. When Brooks landed in Dallas around 2 p.m., he called Haley immediately and learned she was already 5 centimeters dilated. However, his next flight faced delays, pushing the departure by almost 2 hours. Brooks realized he wouldn't make it in time and felt heartbroken, knowing Haley was facing labor alone. For months, Haley had meticulously planned her birth experience, but with Brooks away, she made a last-minute decision to invite her stepmother, Dee Ann, and mother-in-law, Teresa, to the delivery room. While the doctor focused on keeping Haley calm, Teresa seemed distracted. Instead of offering comfort, she appeared to be glued to her phone. Haley was too focused on labor to confront Teresa, even though she felt unsupported. With the doctor urging her to push, Haley noticed Teresa still on her phone. Frustrated and puzzled, she wondered what could possibly be more important than the birth of her granddaughter. Finally, Teresa revealed her secret. She was FaceTiming Brooks at the airport. Thanks to Teresa's quick thinking, Brooks witnessed his daughter Millie's birth, even from miles away. The doctor approved Teresa's decision to FaceTime Brooks, and Haley was relieved to hear her husband's voice. Brooks comforted her as she pushed, but she still wondered when he would arrive in person. At the Dallas airport, Brooks anxiously awaited his delayed flight. He was so focused on Haley's updates that he barely noticed when boarding began. Other passengers overheard his story and became invested in whether he'd make it home in time. As final boarding was called, the gate attendant approached Brooks to prompt him, but a voice suddenly rang out. It was the doctor. "Don't let him on the plane." At that moment, Brooks saw Millie's arrival at 5:23 p.m. on his screen. He realized that had the flight taken off on time, he would have been in the air, unable to witness the birth via FaceTime. Once on board, the passengers cheered for Brooks, sharing his joy like a family. The celebration gave Brooks a moment of solace, though he remained eager to reunite with Haley and Millie in person. When Brooks finally arrived at the hospital, he was relieved to learn that Haley and Millie were doing well. Millie, weighing just over 7 pounds, was healthy, and Haley's blood pressure had returned to normal. Haley asked for a private moment, allowing Brooks to meet and hold his daughter for the first time. The couple shared a heartfelt moment, marveling at their new family. Brooks's joy was bittersweet as he only had 4 days of leave. He spent every moment with Haley and Millie, learning to change diapers, taking countless photos, and cherishing their brief time together. However, the couple woke one morning to an unexpected surprise. Their story had gone viral. One of the passengers had secretly recorded Brooks's journey and shared it online. The video resonated with thousands worldwide, leading to an outpouring of support. Messages, gifts, and well wishes poured in, uplifting Haley as she adjusted to motherhood. Despite wishing Brooks had been there in person, The kindness from strangers made her feel loved and supported. When Brooks's leave ended, he said goodbye to Haley and Millie, returning to Fort Bliss with a heavy heart. Though torn, he knew he was doing the right thing by serving his country. As he left, he found new purpose: to fight for his daughter's future. In the end, Brooks and Haley's journey was filled with emotions and challenges, but it proved the power of love and patience in overcoming obstacles. If you enjoyed this inspiring story, don't forget to hit the subscribe button to stay updated with more amazing adventures. And let us know in the comments, what would you have done if you were in Brooks's shoes? We can't wait to hear your thoughts.